Cars here. Good evening, everybody.
Hey
I love
there.
30 seconds. No one's here. So April, take it away. How are you today, my friend?
I am doing amazing. It is cold here in Panama City Beach, Florida, as we are parked here in our fifth wheel camper. We woke up to almost 2 inches of snow, and our dog Arlo was having a blast out there.
Yeah, I'm not having fun at all because we still have snow and ice everywhere. My house, the way it's positioned, doesn't allow for the sun. So it looks like Canada over here. It's amazing. It's crazy. So wow. So we have I'm so excited about this show because you and Michelle Ward, who's hiding back there, we didn't let her up yet, the bouncer. She's having problems verifying. But uh, you ladies are going to have a amazing webinar or masterclass coming up. I've seen your work. I know and heard enough from Michelle and seen her over the months. This is going to be like amazingly, groundbreakingly, it's so amazing. See, I can't even get the words out. I'm so excited, dadgummit. But anything you want to say before a little preview before we get going?
We're just excited to be here with you, Mike, and really add more to people's lives about balance and brilliance. And we'll unpack a little bit more about that as we have that conversation with you, so that we can um, fuel up, right, with brilliance.
I'm excited.
That was kind of
Well, look,
corny.
we have a new fan coming in here, a new friend of it,
Bobby
Bobby
Parker,
Parker.
hey.
He was on the ESPN Mike King show with Bill Forrester. Bobby, good to see you. Thank you for popping in. Mr. Radio Voice himself, Royce
Hey,
Blake. Good to see
Royce.
you, man. Well, the dogs are going nuts. The internet's going nuts. I think it's time for us to roll the intro. What do you think?
Let's go.
Let's do it.
Are you looking to grow your network and your net worth with other high-level, heart-centered professionals? Then grab a seat and your favorite beverage and join Mike Asherbranner, the Redneck Connector. It's time for the Hounds of Business Community Happy Hour.
Wonderfully timed. Oh my goodness. Look real quick. I get so excited. I could just sit here for an hour and say hi to people in the comments, man. I love it. So Yolanda, my goodness, it's always fun to see. And when she doesn't show up, I get sad. She showed up last week at the end. So thank you, Yolanda. And it goes the same for Leanna. So good to see you. You are in a special treat. Do not leave. All right. Don't change that channel. If you have to, come back and watch the replay. This is going to be a fantastic upcoming masterclass with these ladies. And I wanted to share them with everybody. I've seen great value. I love who they are, what they do. And this is going to be great. And I'm not saying other things aren't great, but sometimes it's hit and miss a lot of times. Right. So it's just nice to know, hey, these people have helped me, other people in the pack, other folks outside of it. And this is going to be really, really super useful for folks. So thank you. And guess what? Look at this. Look who this is. We
Sarah.
know. Oh, Sarah. You know, she took my call twice this week, and she grabbed a Snickers. Right, amazing lady. Space Bridge Partners. We don't talk about it much. Space Bridge Partners is her company, and she connects investors, right? Folks who, I guess, a park bench at a forest isn't enough. Like they want to go to space. Like they want to see space missions, which I am super fan of now. Like I can't get enough Mars rover stuff, and that's what her company does. So love having you in the pack. Let's see, what else did she say? Yep, we know. So, um, oh, check this out, Lisa Marie. How about that? I went to her. Yeah. So April wanted to meet you, and here you are. Amazing.
Yeah, it was in the cards, Lisa, for you to be here.
Yeah, see, that was clever. Yeah, and I loved it. I won't say it here. We'll talk later. But yeah, there's a fun story to that. But Kenny D, Kenneth Dunner, and he tagged me. I popped in, and coincidence. I see a lot of coincidences. Maybe they're not coincidence, right? Good thing when you put yourself out there. Look what happens. Amazing. All right, so let's get going. Tommy's here. Tommy. I want to make sure I get these folks because we were talking about this backstage. But people have options. They're busy. There's things to do. The dog's barking right now at my house, right? Kids are probably bothering other folks. So we really appreciate you all being here and supporting each other. And just it's a testament to who we are as a community and how we do business. We do business, but the how is just so amazing. It don't feel like work sometimes. So let's go. Let's introduce ourselves. I want to make sure that folks get to know who you are and then send them to the classes and things that they can attend. And there's one coming up soon. Let me put the banner up. I want to make sure folks see it. April, we'll start with you. I think a lot of folks are familiar with you, right? You've been on LinkedIn for a little while or quite a while. You used to do the audio rooms. People used to flock into them. I wish we had the audio rooms back. But you're just
Yeah,
a good person. You just
I can
people
I
like
can
you.
bring it back as a video though. I was actually thinking about that, the breathing
Sure.
room, because people need some breathing space. There's a lot happening in our lives. And so just to bring it back to me, and I think that's what you were asking me to introduce myself, Mike.
Yeah.
Uh, I've worked with so many people across the globe with breath work, uh, and I've discovered that there's a common thread, and that thread is people have lost that connection to themselves. They're so focused on external events or people in their lives or situations that they forget to tune into themselves, because that is where our natural healing area, our resources. And of course, with being a breathwork practitioner, the breath is the only thing in the autonomic nervous system that we can control, that we can find that balance within ourselves. So that's what I love to do. Is I love working with people to connect them with themselves, and that's so empowering. And that leads into what Michelle and I are doing with the Balance and Brilliance Masterclass. And I'm absolutely having an amazing time working with Michelle. Michelle, I just love you. I really
Uh,
do.
I feel the same way.
Yeah, and thank you, Mike, also for bringing us together. Right? We kind of knew of each other, but Mike was like, "Hey," he talks about the peanut butter and the jelly type thing, and that's exactly what we do through this master class. So we'll go into it a little bit, but I just want to turn the floor over to Michelle so she can introduce herself.
Well, hello, good evening, or good morning, wherever you are. Thank you so much for being here. And I want to echo Mike's words, and that we just really appreciate you being here, because life is busy. So taking some time to kind of hear what we have to say, and maybe gain a little insight yourself is an amazing thing for us, and hopefully for you. But I'm Michelle Ward, and I have been a coach, a health coach, I don't know, for 15 years. And I moved into mindset about in 2016, and realized that, yes, focusing on mindset is a great thing, but getting beneath those extra layers of mindset is where the subconscious programs lie. And those are the things that kind of keep us doing the things that we don't want to do. And we don't actually realize that we're not broken. There's nothing wrong with us, but we're programmed. And so I was the ultimate self-sabotager. And so I learned from my own experiences, through my own trials and tribulations, how to recognize the self-sabotaging behaviors and what they were connected to. Things from my childhood, things that I'd learned in the media, from the culture, from my church, from my family. And our mind, our subconscious programming, it's there to help us survive, but not necessarily to help us thrive. So I help my clients identify those subconscious programs, reprogram them to be something positive in their lives, so they can not only they get out of that survival mode that April was talking about, the autonomic nervous system, out of the sympathetic and into the parasympathetic, so you can thrive. So there we go.
No, Now you're being modest. I'm gonna get it out of them. Don't y'all leave. I'll get it out over here. When she told me the story, I was like, that's it. I got to help out. Because I can relate to this story. And that's the whole point of this. People can relate to you, right? We all think there's something wrong with us. Well, I can't keep it together, or I have this thought or that thought. And let me tell you something. Everybody does. They're just better at hiding it than you. That's what I've discovered. They're better at burying their head in the sand and putting potpourri on it. Y'all remember what I said before, but I won't say it. I won't say it yet because I don't want April to leave. But hey, I'll say it. You can spray Lysol on a dog turd, but it's still a dog turd. All right. Face the stuff, work on it. All right. And get over it. I've done it. It's awful. But when you do the inner work, it's amazing. Correct me if I'm wrong, ladies. It's amazing how your marketing, your business, everything seems to get better, right? Because you're happier, you're more you, right? You're more congruent. So let's get into this. I got a question. Let me stop there. I really want to know because I want to make folks get this. Whoever wants to go, y'all just fight over it. Right? Both of y'all work with people feeling disconnected and overwhelmed, right? And if you're building a business, scaling up, or in corporate, or you don't have to be you could be a stay-at-home mom or whatever it may be, right? It happens. So what common patterns do you guys see in today's, professionals or busy women that signal that they're heading to burnout? Like, how do folks kind of get the signs before it happens?
April, do you want to take that and then I'll tag on? Or
Sure.
Okay.
Definitely. Thank you. And great question, Mike. I mean, it's I say the hamster wheel effect, right? Or chasing that carrot of I have to do in order to be. And there's always one more thing and one more thing. And yet we forget to have our own self-care, apply different techniques, or everybody knows, for example, like maybe meditation or going for a walk or going to the gym, getting and doing something for ourselves. Although we always sell ourselves short. What's the first thing we do if our schedule is too full? We say, oh, I don't have time for the gym. I don't have time for meditation this morning. Or, oh, I'll do that later on tonight. And yet we fall into bed, exhausted mentally or physically, and then continue that cycle when we get up in the morning. So I actually had a client recently, and she said that she wanted to remember her joy. She didn't feel joyful about work or even about her personal life. And she really felt that there was something that needed to move, right, with her physicality, mentally, emotionally, and physical, and work through that with the breath work. So that's what I'm going to contribute to the balance, right? With this Balance and Brilliance masterclass that Michelle and I are bringing forward. Not only just the subconscious thinking and the repetitive thoughts, as Michelle's brought up, but also how do we get back into our bodies? Our bodies are so intelligent, and we need to remember that's a valuable resource. And when we do that, then we can release those tensions and pressures that we're applying on ourselves. And we feel so much better at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
Real quick. Hold on. Don't lose that thought. This is why I love talking to April when I have issues, because I'm a caveman. All right. I like to bash it through and ignore the pain and the symptoms and all this. And she's like, put your toes in the grass. I'm like, well, I don't even wear shoes. But I'm so anybody out there, hey, it really makes a difference. You try something new if you think, well, that's not going to help me. All right, I'm telling you, it does. It may feel weird at first, but that's the point. Get out of your comfort zone, right? If you're building a business, you should be used to getting out of your comfort zone. At least if you're building one like me. So, and real quick, audience out there, I see a lot of great people in this wheelhouse. Share this. You said she didn't feel joyful in her work or life. I'm gonna tell you, hey, that happens a lot, especially when you're going through transitions. And I felt that this week and several times. Like, it wasn't like I was unhappy, but I kept going to a group call and I just, going through the motions or overthinking it. And the thought dawned on me. And chat, hey, share this if y'all like to. I said, I just want to be happy. I'm just, like, I just want to show up and be me. And if forget the outcomes. If people resonate, great. Come in, join the hounds, work with me, whatever. If you don't, Well, good. I didn't waste your time. Tell people nice things about me, right? Like win-win. And it was so much fun. And like I said, I started to see things rise. I didn't change my marketing. I didn't do that. I just showed up happy, didn't care.
Hmm.
So go ahead, Michelle, because I know you got lots to say on this.
Well, so kind of tagging on to what April said, and about the hamster wheel and all that stuff. And then you have all these goals for yourself, or these things that you want to do, and then you don't get them done. And then you feel guilty about it. And then you start thinking yourself unworthy and undeserving of, good things. And so, whether that be, I'm not, I can't lose the weight. I can't get this post done or this article done or whatever. And so we convince ourselves that we're unable to do these, whatever it is that we want to achieve. And then we end up not doing that. But that's programmed thinking. And that comes from, probably past experiences, habits that we build throughout our life to, that just are normal, everyday, habitual things or thoughts. And so one of the things, something I was telling April today is that I caught myself. Somebody had told, two separate people had told me that I was doing a really great job on the same project that I was working on. And I was sitting there thinking, but I didn't do this, and I didn't do this. I haven't done this yet. And I've been out of town. And so, but then I caught myself and I was thinking, why not just accept the compliment and be grateful that somebody's noticing the work that I'm putting in.
Mm-hmm.
And so I started thinking back, what is triggering this subconscious belief, or this belief that I'm not doing enough? And it goes back to not being perfect, or not being, not doing things the way my parents wanted them done, and getting in trouble for it, or, my best effort was not enough. And so those kind of things are playing in the background. We have like 65,000 thoughts going through our head a day, and 93 to 97% of those thoughts are subconscious. And about 60% of those 93 to 97% of those thoughts are negative. They're not positive thoughts. And so if you can't learn and to be aware of what you're thinking, then you're just going to be on that hamster wheel, like April was talking about, and not be able to get off of it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pausing because the internet's lagging, and I assume April had something, because it's like a ping pong game. This is why these two get along so well. Seriously, cookies and milk, right?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, for sure. I'm watching everybody in the comments. Thank you, everyone, for coming out and supporting us. Seriously, this just means a lot to me and Michelle, as Michelle was talking about those sabotaging beliefs. We're wanting more for ourselves. We're putting ourselves out there. Mike, of course, is leveling us up, as Sister CJ's here as well. And there's still that little angst of, is anybody going to show up? What's going to happen here? So I just want to shout out to all the beautiful people that are here right now. There's just so many. It's hard to keep up, and I want to really be engaged with this conversation. So my heart goes out to you all right now. And as Michelle was sharing, yeah, we have that angst or that uncertainty, and with that mind-body connection, that is in our bodies. Right? Memories and traumas and things are actually, science has shown, it's stored in the fascia. That's that connected tissue between the muscles. And when you're in a safe space, when you feel supported, and when you get into a connected breath in a safe way, then that helps to bubble up those tensions, and we can feel what's happening in our bodies actually, and accept it and be with it. And that's where the magic happens. That's where that shift happens, to where, oh, I've been holding this for so long, and I appreciate my body because it's it's here for me. It's doing all this work for me, instead of pushing it away, getting angry. Why is my back hurting? Why is my shoulder hurt? When you know that there's been some emotional things happening, maybe a big shift in your life, as Michelle was talking about, shifting from being an empty nester and, starting her career. Me as a full-time RVer, I've had some things pop up for me too. And just accepting it and asking, and this might sound weird to some people out there, and that's okay. I can get a little weird, but asking your body, what do you need right now?
Well, so
What
many
is
people
my
don't make
shoulder
that.
saying to me right now? Oh, need to relax, to let that stuff go. Really tuning into that body. Yeah, Michelle?
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but so many people don't make that mind-body connection, and we live in a world where everything is in our mind's eye is so disconnected. Like, I use the example, you go to the one doctor for hormones, one doctor for a virus, one doctor for heart, one doctor for lungs, one doctor for knees, whatever, for feet. Well, the body is completely connected. It's one organism. And so the mind actually is connected to everything in the body as well. So what you think and what the program's playing in the back of your mind, those subconscious beliefs actually do have an effect on your body, on disease, on sickness, in health, and just in every aspect of your life. And it does sound strange to people who have not heard that before, but it is scientifically backed, just like you said. And there's a quote that says that the mind is a wonderful servant, but a terrible master. And so if you let your thoughts master your life, then that will not go well for you. And so, and it's never too late to make a change, and it's never too late to start identifying where these thoughts are coming from and how it's affecting your body. Take a deep breath and notice how relaxed you can be, but then question yourself, like, how can I think differently about this? And is this really true? So these are some of the things that we're going to be addressing in our masterclass on February 2nd.
Well, real quick, two things. Sharon said, earthing is so grounding. I love it. Is that what the put my feet in the
Yes,
grass?
that's
Is
what
that
I
what
had.
that is?
I literally had Mike do that. I was on a phone call with him and I said, Mike, I want you to go out there and put your feet in the grass, and you need to send me a picture to prove that you did it. And he did.
Well, at first I had to put socks on or trim toenails, and then I did it. But here's the fun part. I was like, no, I wanted some like good sage advice. I didn't want that advice at first. I'll be honest. I was like, what is this? Like, I walk around in grass all the time. But
Well, it's the
it
simple
was the
things that make the biggest difference, honestly.
it was the intention. I mean, I just walking around versus being aware of it. So here's what I hear you. Here's what I hear you saying. Correct me if I'm wrong. Audience, chime in. So all that stuff that plays in our brains and tells us all this stuff that we believe, we don't have to believe it. That's not, we're not a victim. We're not controlled like a puppet by all this that's going on. There's a way to overcome it. How would you phrase that? Like, if we're not a victim and we may think that we have to go by whatever, childhood tapes and all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, somebody chime in and save me. What I'm
Well,
trying to say.
I think you said it perfectly. You don't have to believe what you think, what you think. As a matter of fact, I was having a conversation with somebody today, and she was saying how this person thinks this thing about her. And I was like, well, how do you know that? And did they say that? And she said, no. And she said, I just know. And I was like, well, that you can believe what you want to believe, but that's not the truth. And that's only hurting you. And it's not, it's not beneficial. So it's actually my daughter I was talking to. So just I don't normally talk to my clients that way, but it was my daughter I was talking to. And I said, you have the choice to change your thoughts about that, about your, your perspective. And
yes,
it is about choice. But
yes.
also, a lot of times we don't really realize what we're thinking because it's so habitual and it's just who we are. And I read this really great book a couple of years ago called Personality Isn't Permanent. And I was reading through that, and it was just like very simple things, like, and how this guy, he was talking about how he changed his entire life by changing his thoughts. And he used to be a heavy smoker, and he decided he wanted to quit smoking, and he went to a new job or something like that. And all the people were on a smoke break, and they said, "Do you want to come outside and have a cigarette with us?" And he was like, "No, I don't smoke. I'm not a smoker." Whereas the day before he had been a smoker, but he had made the change, and he made the decision in his mind. And I don't know if y'all heard me say this before, but the commitment comes after the decision. So he made the decision and the commitment stuck. And so those people didn't know that he had been a smoker for 30 years, but he told them that I'm not a smoker. And he said, from that point on, I've not had a cigarette since. And I was like, that's really a profound and simple thing to do,
Oh,
It
all right, I'm
is.
gonna lose it. I'm gonna lose it. I heard someone the other day said, "I don't do burnout." It was a lady, it was a professional lady, and she's like, "Look, I just don't do burnout." And I thought, well, is that delusion? And then I thought about it. When you say that kind of stuff to yourself, you end up taking action to make it true. Am I the only one? Audience, come on, chime in. So I say, hey, I don't do. Wow, that was profound. I don't do this. I don't smoke. I'm a non-smoker.
Mhm.
That's not delusion. That's not lying to yourself. That's programming you in another direction, right? You've been programmed, so you might as well start programming your dadgum self, which is the point of the whole master class. Is to teach people. Don't feel bad that you don't know how to do this stuff. We're not born with an instruction manual on how all this works, right, ladies? Right?
Mhm.
So, you're listening to me, I'm a fireman and all this stuff. Listen, I'm a believer. Do I want to be, whatever my misconceptions that are holding me back from great things in life? No, I'd rather do the hard work, look silly, put my toes in the grass, whatever it takes to get better and help more people, right? So don't feel like you're alone. And this is why we're not doing this live stream. The ladies aren't doing this on the live stream. They're doing it in a safe environment where people can be free to talk, and there's no rednecks in the back corner saying silly stuff, right? At least not me. And you guys can have this safe space to get to know and to talk and to really work through this stuff, because it is life changing. All right. So go ahead, April.
It is. Thank you, Mike. And I just want to bring it back to that choice
Yeah.
that Michelle, you brought up. It is so important for people to remember we have a choice to how to choose a better feeling thought, to shift the script, I say. And that's what Michelle's going to be talking about. And then, I allude into being aware, being more present with the body. How does that feel? And the felt sense, all that. But it's so important to choose. And also that awareness, having the awareness with curiosity. Become curious. I wonder how this is going to happen. I wonder when blank, instead of saying, oh, I know it, this person's just like this situation always happens the same way, that's the ruminating thoughts.
Yeah.
And because that's what we're looking for, then we'll find things to validate that old BS, the belief systems.
Right.
We will find things. The mind is so clever, right? Oh, I told you so, that was going to happen because of X, Y, and Z. When we can become more curious of those repetitive thoughts of where did I even pick this belief up from?
Right.
And when I
Well,
started
yeah.
my meditation practice and I sat with this, I heard my father's voice from when I was a kid. I was diagnosed with I don't talk about this that much, but with dyslexia. And he just kept saying, you're just going to have to study twice as hard. You're never going to get a break. You're not going to be a straight A student. All those things. And when you're a second grader and you hear that
Yeah.
from your father,
You believe
that
it.
really sets in the subconscious. So I actually share that in my story in The Lion's Roar, from Moving Beyond Boxes with CJ and Susanna Don. I was part of their anthology. So I shared that. And that actually helped me open up because I shared it. I spoke my truth and my voice, and that really helped to heal that. So when we can shift it, when we can see it for what it is, it wasn't even my voice, but I carried that narrative for so long. I truly believed it. And look where I am now. So
Right.
that's
Yeah.
just being aware.
I love that point that you just made. And I think everybody should write this down. It wasn't even your voice that you
No.
were hearing. It was your dad's voice. And that's not who you are. And you are not your mind. You're not your thoughts. And true transformation begins from within. And this is a transformative interactive masterclass that we're doing, and the breath work and the subconscious reprogramming, it's a perfect marriage, is what I said earlier. But the way you see the world, the way you see things, is coming from within. I'm sure you've heard about the psychologist who did the study on the twin boys, and one of the twin boys was just negative about everything, and the other one was always so positive. And so for Christmas, the parents gave one boy, like the real negative one, like a really cool new train set, and he, opened it up, and he was like, this train I don't like this red. This is an ugly red. I don't even have I want another part. And I don't know if I'm going to even like this. Does this even work? Well, the other boy opened up a box, and it had horse manure in it. And the little boy got up, the positive one, he got up and he ran outside, and his parents are running after him like, where is he going? And he said, there's got to be a horse around here somewhere. And so it's all a matter of perspective. How we see the world is coming from within. And so if we can look at the horse manure and see there is a horse around here somewhere, that is an amazing life to live.
Wow, that was impactful. Now that made
I
sense.
love
And then when
that.
you said horse manure, I was like, is that me? Well, you
Oh,
talking
yeah.
about me? No. So, oh, and real quick, did y'all hear the brilliance from April? She said old BS, and then she said belief system, because BS stands for something else, and she just mentioned it, right? So, yeah, that's brilliant. Oh, and by the way, the folks want to know this. At least I do. I'm gonna pretend like everybody does. Balance and brilliance. Which one's balance? Which one's brilliant? That's what I wanted to know. I told you I was going to ask that. But on a serious note, where did that come from, April?
Oh, well, Michelle and I had a brainstorming, and I think you were there too, and it just kind of came out.
Yeah,
Is that what you
together?
Michelle? I can't remember. We've been meeting and talking and collaborating and creating this amazing content for this masterclass. So,
well, if you have balance in your mind, body, and spirit, where the breath work comes in, where the subconscious reprogramming comes in, then you are going to be the brilliant person that you are meant to be. That's what Elan Vital means, is that vital force, that innate vital force that we're born with. And somehow along the way, somebody made a comment earlier, I think it was Christine, is that we start believing the lies that are told to us, that we're not good enough, that we're not smart enough. Think about Stuart Smalley, from Saturday Night Live. I'm good enough, I'm smart enough, and people like me, kind of thing. But if we can really look in the mirror and be intentional, about those things, and living with intention about what we're saying to ourselves and what we're saying to other people, because that resonates out, and changes other people's perspectives whenever we are either positive or negative.
I'm
sure,
excited
we
because
are
I
the
didn't even
ripple
think.
effect.
Yes.
Uh-oh. I'm lagging. Uh-oh, my bad. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. Yeah, no, I was excited because I didn't even think about it. This is the time of the year where people start really failing on their resolutions or goals or things they wanted to accomplish. And then look, I'm speaking from experience as a practitioner. Then you stink, and you can go down this downward spiral. And that's the whole reason we're opening this up. Is say, hey, don't do that. Man, make a conscious decision to do something, right?
Mm.
Hey, just do something. Like, what am I going to do? Well, there's a master class coming up, right? There's videos you can watch and explore. That's going to take you out of your feels. And this is Mr. Feels talking. All right. I'm not talking like a guru. I'm talking about, hey, I feel you. Are you talking about a spiral? My goodness. But it's okay. I'm okay to say that. I healed to enough to say that. And it takes work. It doesn't take as much as you think, but it takes intention and it takes doing some stuff to learn. And so anyway, wow, I love this discussion. We need to have another hour. So um let me ask you this, because the combination of you two, right? So Michelle, you specialize in breaking through self-sabotaging beliefs, right?
Yes.
From experience. I love your story. I'm gonna get you to say it. And April, you focus on mind-body connection. How do these two interplay in professional success? Why are they important? How do they play together? Let's say Michelle.
Well, if you don't understand why you're thinking what you're thinking and why you're doing what you're doing, then it's really difficult to make positive headway in your life. But if you're also not, and April will talk more about this, but if you're not connected to how that feels in the body and where that's, where that's manifesting, like think about if you're anxious about something, a lot of people feel like right here in their chest, and they have a hard time breathing, and then they go down this rabbit hole of, oh my gosh, I don't have anxiety, but I do know a little bit about it, and how you can go, your mind can just start future tripping and like thinking about all the things that could happen if this one thing happens. It's like being in the present moment and recognizing where that is in your body and breathing into it, learning April's breathing techniques. She's actually done it, had me do it, and it's amazing. Like, it's amazing how it just calms the mind, the body, and the spirit. But you also have to be aware of when you're going down that rabbit hole. So they go together like that.
You said it so perfectly, Michelle. I don't know what else to say besides it is being embodied, and when that happens, we build more resiliency to stress, to the I like to call it like the trauma vortex, right? We get caught up in those thoughts and it kind of brings us down. We feel it in our bodies. We feel heavy. We feel stiff, it just is so heavy in our bodies. So when we have more emotional intelligence, right, with the awareness about those thoughts, learning to shift the script and tapping into our bodies as a resource, we can find that center in uncertainty in those times. And that's where the balance happens. That's when we can recognize that that feeling of, oh, look what I did. This is pretty amazing. I didn't react the way I usually do. I responded in a better way, and I feel so much better. And that's where our brilliance shines through, right? It's just about recognizing that within ourselves. And that's so empowering, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. And just we set these unrealistic expectations for ourselves as well. And which also can be defeating and just, they keep us from achieving our goals. And so really evaluating, why am I setting such a crazy expectation of myself? Do I expect that of other people? Somebody, and so really evaluating that and celebrating the small wins and being grateful for every moment of the day and just living in that moment right there. So many people live in the past, and, that's causes depression. A lot of people live in the future, which leads to anxiety. Living in the present moment, knowing that all you have is this breath in this second that you're in, really helps with, getting in touch with that mind body, making that mind body spirit connection as well.
Mhm.
Oh my goodness. Hey,
And I
you
think,
touched on
Mike,
something.
you forgot to mention that this masterclass, even though we love you guys out there, is for ladies. So we we might come up with another class, you know, in the future that involves everyone, but right now we're focusing on women out there. So Tommy, you know, we would love to have you in the future, and Stephen as well, and Royce, and all the other hounds that had showed up here. But right now we're focusing on the ladies right now.
Well, Royce
Well,
and Tommy, tell your ladies, tell the
Yeah,
women in your
uh,
life.
invite your ladies.
Yeah.
Mike, invite your lady.
I am. I was like, and then I get the Cliff Notes version. See, hey, then I get the shorter version. See, guys, we're smart. We'll send our mom or whoever's in your life, wife, and then we'll just get the bullet points, right? So I love this. You said something earlier. My uncle taught me at a young age. He was a secret redneck. He looked normal, but he was redneck. Real good guy. He said we were fishing, and he said we were talking about, I don't know. I was like 8 years old, and he says fish don't think, they react. And that right there, there's a big difference that you touched on about react versus respond.
Hmm.
Right? We're supposed to be evolved and grow, and there's a difference between I want to, but am I going to? I can stop and be conscious of it. And
Yeah.
boy, that has been my 2024. Like, uh, hey, I'm not a fish. I'm not, because if you throw the fish back, you ever went fishing? The same fish bite the same hook. You know it's the same fish over and over. Don't be a fish. Is my point. All right, see, I should teach part of this master class. We'll have a redneck version. We'll have
We're gonna have to
a
use
professional.
that, April. Don't, yeah, like stop getting on that
Mm,
same hook, like
Stop biting the bait, right?
So,
And
yeah,
and
yeah.
when you talked about that, Mike, really it's about when we have those thoughts, they're very judgmental, right? They're very heavy
Oh yeah.
and judging. And so we don't feel safe or supported. We feel insecure. And then we're going to project our insecurities on other people as well. So
exactly.
that's when we become defensive. So when we're in a space that we feel safe, seen, and heard, then we can relax a little bit, let that guard down, right? Melt those tensions. And that's where we can really tune into ourselves for that self discovery as well.
Well, and that's a
And
good
that's
point. It's like there's no judgment whatsoever because we've been there, done that. I mean, if you heard my story, my entire story, you would probably be like that poor woman. But I was able to pull myself out of it and learn from it. But there's no judgment, and there's only love. Really, we are approaching this from a place of love, acceptance, healing, compassion. So because you deserve that.
Mm,
what April was
yes.
saying. Oh my goodness, my internet. I might as well just leave because like it's such like a 10-minute lag on this thing. My goodness, I hate it. But that's the downward spiral that you ladies that April was just talking about. Right. So when you feel insecure, it projects, people start acting different, then you're like, oh, nobody likes me. Stop. Just hit the remote control button. Stop. Hit pause. That's the whole point of what you ladies teach. That's the whole point of a safe space of the master class. It's really is. It's just a hey, you can do and be your best self. But you like I don't if I get a toothache, I don't take a power drill and start going in there and playing around. I don't know what I'm doing, right? It's the wrong tool. And so someone that and these two ladies have been there, right? They're gonna share their story at some point, but I probably make you wait and go to the master class. Because when I heard these stories, I was like, that's who I want to learn from. I don't want to learn from somebody who hasn't been there and struggled through it, personally. I want somebody who struggled through it and then figured it out and learned how to teach me. That's the whole point of this. So I'm really excited for you ladies. Let's get a deep dive, and then I want to get to the practical because I know you guys can give some pointers out to the audience. So April, we'll start with you. Biodynamic breathwork practitioner, right? Can you share some example or a specific example of how the breath work has helped one of your clients break through a professional
Mm.
or some kind of barrier?
Oh, yeah. Wow. Where do I begin, actually? Just as I shared in the beginning about that one client who reached out, she was a Reiki client and she had never done biodynamic breath work and trauma release system before. And it is a little bit more committed, right? This is committed work. And so what that looks like is meeting with me one-on-one for a series of 7 sessions. So the first session is complimentary. And what she found was the more that she breathed, the more relaxed she became. Even though she showed up, she might have been a little bit angst over the day, right, from work or whatever was happening in her life. But as she showed up and she just tuned into herself with the breathing, that connected breath, that helps to just slightly activate the sympathetic nervous system. So that way the tensions kind of bubble up. You move, you breathe. There's pressure points to push on to move that energy through your body, because that's what it is. That's that charge from your nervous system from a challenging discussion with a coworker or with a family member, right? We feel it in our bodies, but what are we doing about it? How are we moving it through our system? So it literally melts the outer layers of tension. And that's what you want to do. You want to melt it. You don't want to go in there with the stick of dynamite and blow it up. You want to just find that ease and melt those tensions. And this is where we become more comfortable in our own skin and recognize that these are just sensations in the body. And with that awareness, then you can really tune in and see what's happening there. So that's building that emotional intelligence. So back to the client, she actually, I'm going to post her her testimonial next week, but she's like, I am much more joyful. She says, it's really strange. I feel a lot lighter at work. I recognize that other people's stuff is not mine. I don't have to hold their, she said, crap, you know, and I can just watch it unfold, and I don't have to get in there. I don't have to be part of it. And that really helped her to have that foundation of support, her resource, which is very important with this breath work. So in this masterclass, I'm just going to outer layers of felt sense. What does that look like? How are you feeling in this moment? Kind of walking through different scenarios so people become more aware of what's happening with the body and the mind at the same time. And just very easy, gentle breathing that we will be doing, more of a meditative walkthrough. So that's just a little nugget of what I'm going to be introducing.
Did you say crap? This is a family show.
She
Oh
said
my
it.
good.
She
Oh my
said it.
goodness.
My client said it. I know, it was horrible, wasn't it?
Never heard
Yeah.
a
Oh, it's
nasty word came out of her mouth.
yeah. Go to my marketing class, and that's about every other word. That's an easy word. So yeah, you can't. Yeah, you got to deal with it. So wow, I'm excited. Let's see. I don't even know where to start. I really all I want to do is encourage people. Oh, and by the way, how do you find the masterclass? You can go to my LinkedIn profile. You can go to April Wyatt with the E, Wyett. You can go to Michelle Ward. Yeah, LinkedIn's always like, you want to put an A in there? No, it's Wyett or Michelle Ward. You can go to her LinkedIn profile. If you're watching from YouTube, I'll put it in the description. All right, and we'll reload it to the video so you can go find it. So DM me if you want that. I can't spread the word enough. All right, I want to see people get unstuck, going down these spirals, and whatever's holding you back, just get over, right? Go find solutions for it. They're here, right here. In the comments, yeah, you're gonna have some people there. Look at this, and these are folks that all kind of overlap, and I know these people, and these are good folks. Seriously, clear the calendar. Go Sunday, February 2nd, 7 p.m. Eastern, and for CJ, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'll put it up there just for you, Dr. Constance Leland. Thank you, my friend. Level up. So let me ask this question. All right, Michelle, you talk about unrecognized patterns from the past influencing the present. Boy, I know about that. Can you walk us through how you help clients identify these hidden patterns?
Well, I do have a pretty thorough and in-depth questionnaire that I have my clients thoughtfully go through. It's kind of like I ask them, just like treat it like a stream of consciousness when you're answering these questions. And what I can do is I can go through this questionnaire and identify patterns and where they are coming from, and what the result of those patterns or those subconscious beliefs that they're not even aware of are projecting or causing. So that's kind of a very simplistic look at what I do. But, you know, I just kind of tell you about a client that I had. This is, she was actually a client before I started the she was actually a health coaching client, but she came back to me a couple of years ago, and she has suffered, desperately suffered for 27 years with anxiety, debilitating anxiety, and she has been on every medication and every therapy that you can even imagine. And she's like, I got to do something different. The medications aren't working. They're making me, you know, and then she, as a result of the medication, she couldn't exercise, so she gained weight, and she had this really horrible back pain, like horrible back pain. Well, so once we went through the questionnaire, I started, pointing some things out, some things that her mom had said, some things her dad had said. She was the older sister, and she was always taking care of the little sister. And she was responsible for everybody else's happiness but her own. Again, this is very simplistic, but once we started identifying these patterns and identifying these thoughts and this guilt that she had for being not well while she was raising her children, and not being able to be the mom she wanted to be, the wife she wanted to be, the sister she wanted to be, the daughter that she thought she should be, unpacking all that, miraculously within about, 6 weeks, she didn't need the therapist or the psychiatrist anymore. She didn't need the therapist anymore. The pain was gone. The medications were gone. She's lost 30 pounds and looks great. And her psychiatrist actually said to her, she said, I don't know what you're doing. She's like, I've never seen such, an amazing transformation in such small, in such a small period of time. She'd been working with this psychiatrist for 20 years, and she hadn't been able to help her. So it's very impactful, impactful. So that's one of my favorite stories of one of my dear clients who's now become a friend. So
You
That
see that
is
awkward
amazing.
pause? That was for the April. Go ahead, because the internet lag.
That was amazing. I absolutely love that.
Oh yeah.
And just being a witness to a client with that shift it's such an honor, and it just validates that this work works as long as people show up and they really want to shift. They're really wanting to do the work. And is it easy? Sometimes it is. Some days they're easier than others, and that's with anything, right? So we just ask for people to have an open mind and curiosity and want to learn something new. That's all. An open mind and an open heart for this Balance and Brilliance masterclass. That's what we're asking. Yeah, that's it.
If I can do it, I love to hear your excuse. I'm sorry. I'm going to challenge people because I believe in them. I care about them, but I'm being fun. Seriously. I joke. This is what I mean when I joke about being the gremlin from Gremlins 2, the one that talks, right? Like, I'm still a guy, I'm still a redneck, but I am cultured now. I learned how to do things. In fact, I told you all the story about how you can influence people like you wouldn't believe. When I'm out there in the country, like deep country, right? And I was showing up that Pilates me and Michael Gale did, a while back, this last year. And, you know, he thought it was funny at first, but then he started talking about his knee pain and how nothing else would work. And here we are, right? 1 a.m, listening to country music, doing Pilates with his big Cletus, right, and big tough guy. So listen, knock all that off, right? Go make a life. Go find the people and being around these ladies, right? That's the whole thing. Don't do it alone. You'll get so much from being around each other, right? Birds of a feather flock together, guys. And so that's why I'm thrilled. I'm absolutely 1000% thrilled to be a part of this, promote and get this out there, because I know people hurt inside. and they don't need to, right? So if you tried everything out there and blah, 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 okay, try something else. Keep doing it until it works. I'm telling you, there's nothing like it. So I'm going to get at least one more question in. So can you share? All right, we'll start with April. Can you share one practical technique that folks out there listening can implement today to start setting really better boundaries with guilt or whatever they're overcoming? Like, just kind of negative self-talk. What's one thing they can do to kind of reconnect and feel better about this before they come to your masterclass?
Oh, there's just so many things that people can do. I think the best thing to do is, before you even get out of bed, pause, take a breath, and ask yourself, how do I want to feel at the end of the day? How do I want to feel? I would say 100% of people would say, I'd want to feel happier, or I'd want to feel content or relaxed or joyful, whatever that is, right? Everybody's going to choose more positive light. So when you tell yourself, that's how I want to feel, then throughout the day, check in, keep checking it. How am I feeling? Maybe I'm feeling a little angst or frustration. Okay, just take a breath and refocus, however that looks for you. Go take a walk, step back, listen to music, whatever that is, to break that ruminating thoughts about whatever your mind is telling you. And then you'll feel a little easier at the end of the day, right? And then that kind of continuum, right? In the morning, at night, when you go to bed, focus on what went well. What went well today? Because whatever you take to bed with you is what you're going to wake up with.
That's right. Amen.
Come straight.
So, as you wake up in the morning and when you go to bed, focus on what you're wanting more of.
Wow. Okay. Well, I'm going to ask Michelle the same thing, but in a little bit different way for her area of expertise here. So I really want to hone in on the guilt part, because that really can hold people back, right? And it may sound funny, like, well, I'm not feeling any guilt. Yeah, it's kind of buried down there, right? I know. Like, so uh, what's a practical technique that folks can do before they attend the webinar or the master class, right? To start setting better boundaries and without feeling guilty. So and this is a professional question, right? People feel like, oh, I don't want to impose. I don't want to be assertive. I don't want to be bothering people or be looked, down upon. I'm not a team player. We can go on and on. So in the workplace or in a business, what are some things that folks can do to start setting better boundaries and stop feeling guilty about that, Michelle?
Well, be okay with saying no, first of all. And, we started off at the very beginning of this discussion about self-care. And self-care, taking care of yourself, is not selfish. As a matter of fact, if you're not taking care of yourself, you can't be the best person for anybody else in work and life and family, with your kids, your friends, and all that stuff. So be okay with setting the boundaries. Stand firm and know why you're doing that. You don't know. Oh my gosh, I used to hate it whenever my dad or mom would say, when I'd say, can I do this? And no, why? Because I said so. Well, it's okay because I said so. You don't owe anybody an explanation. Don't be rude about it, but because that make you feel even more guilty. But it's okay to say no, and it's okay to set good boundaries. And also know that as you're learning new techniques, and growing and changing, it's going to feel uncomfortable. Growth does not come without some sort of resistance. Lean into that resistance. It's fine. Breathe into it. And you can ask yourself the question, why am I feeling resistance about this? Why am I feeling bad about this or guilt about this? And just really, give yourself 30 seconds to a minute to think about why you're feeling that way. And a lot of times that feeling will pass. So
Beautiful. Seriously, and you got to give yourself grace. You wouldn't if think about this. If someone came to you with the stuff you're thinking and feeling, you wouldn't be like, "Hey, stop that! You're ridiculous." You wouldn't. We talk to ourselves that way. You wouldn't talk to April that way or me, right? And I mentioned this. This works both ways, guys. I'm not the expert. I just learned from these ladies, so that's why I'm all excited over here. I'm not doing the master class, thank goodness. But I was talking about that the other day. I said, this big thing is coming around the corner. I'm excited about the wins, but then I thought about it. I was like, if Tanya or somebody or CJ was to say it, I'd be like, wow, I expected that. Good job, way to go. But when it's me, I'm like, well, maybe it was an accident, or maybe I can't keep it going. What if I fail? Think about that one. That's what got me. I'm like, that's weird. It's like, I'm supposed to love myself more than anybody else, but I care about other people's opinions more. Like, we have to start questioning. That's what the whole intention thing's about to me. Is stop and say, why do I really believe that, or do I want to? Right? And you say, wow, Mike, I get it. Yeah, well, go find people that can relate to you. Go to these ladies that can put that safe space together and really start that continuous journey. No, it's not going to change your life all of a sudden in an hour and a half, but you got to start somewhere. All right. So whether you're stuck and you need to get unstuck, or whether you're just trying to go next level in this inner peace journey, this is it. All right. This is why I'm out here, because I want to make sure people, they get real good guidance, and these ladies have been there for me. So I appreciate you. Let's get to the last question, because I want to make sure folks, really understand it. All right. So April, what can participants, right? People that come into this, I don't know what you want to call them, but the ladies that are coming to this webinar, all right, what do you expect them to walk away with? What's the goal here? What do you really want them to take away from the February 2nd class that they won't get anywhere else? Maybe.
I truly believe that they will have a new, like a sense of self, or a remembrance of that inner spark that they maybe once had, or maybe even if they've never had it, having that shine through, that sense of self, having more clarity about who they really are instead of those thoughts, and helping to just be with themselves too, right? Feeling comfortable with themselves. I know that was kind of three things, but
No,
it's all
that's
about
okay.
connecting back to themselves, really.
Yeah, I asked this because I want people to relate. That's the whole thing, right? People have issues. I had issues. Well, I'm not going to relate to some Harvard, doctor or psychologist, but if I relate to somebody else, right? And then I might go to that Harvard psychologist. That's the whole thing. We got to stop thinking we're on an island. And by the way, me, Royce, and Tommy are all trying to figure out how to sneak in here. You see that? He's going to
I
change
see
his
that,
voice.
Royce. You're so funny. No, I don't think you could ever change your voice.
Yeah,
I wouldn't want you
that
to change your
we
voice,
don't
Royce.
you.
I love it.
Yeah.
The last person on earth that could change his voice. Right? This guy was made for radio. Like, wow. We got to get him up here next time. Royce, come up here next time before the show and just talk. We got to get you out there, man. Like, it could have been career day. They're like, no career day for you, Royce. You're radio. And he's been in radio, 30 years? Like, he's a great guy. So, all right, Michelle, your turn. Right. Again, the question was, what can folks that come into this, what can the ladies, what are they going to get? What do you want them to walk away from? And, maybe they can't get it elsewhere, or maybe they tried and what is it that they can take away?
Well, okay. The thing that came to my mind immediately is that we are an average of the 5 people that we hang out with the most. So if you're hanging out with negative people, you're going to tend to be negative. If you're hanging out with people who, don't have a whole lot of goals or aspirations, or have a victim mentality, you're going to tend to be that way. If you hang out with people that eat fast food for breakfast, lunch, and dinner and can't understand why they, can't lose weight or whatever, you're going to be more like that person. So this is a safe community. This is all about community and all about finding people or being around people that are going to lift you up, that are going to encourage you along your journey in a non-judgmental way. So we're going to have some practical tools that you'll be able to take with you. We've got, I've got a journal, a 7-day journal with some thoughtful questions to consider. April is going to provide an MP3 with a meditation on it that she has created. So there's some fun things. There's some tools that you can use like that. But I think that just being together and ask, we're going to have time for at least 30 minutes of sharing time. And that's where I think the meat of it, the icing on the cake, let's say the icing on the cake will be, is just sharing, because sharing is caring, right? And, just listening to the hearts of me and April and then other people, but just knowing that you're not alone. I think that's a huge thing. You're not doing life alone. We're doing it all together, and just improving yourself a little bit with your thoughts, with your mind, body, and spirit, improves the world around you and has that ripple effect. So that's kind of more ethereal maybe, but it is what I think will be a good thing come out of this for everybody.
See, you ladies are all heart, and that's what, I trust you. And in this kind of wheelhouse, trust is everything. That's the biggest thing I want people to take away, right? I know these folks. They didn't just show up. They're not doing this for any other reason. I want to make sure that people have trusted guides and friends that they can connect with. That's what I do. I mean, it's weird, but hey, it's great. It blows people away. It changes lives. And by the way, shameless plug. Look at who's in the comments. Look at who's on stage. If you're trying to build a business or do something or pay the bills, don't do that alone. Dadgummit, come to the Hounds of Business. Test drive us, right? You don't have to stay. Just come out and check it out. If it's not for you, I'll walk you somewhere. It might be a better fit. And here's the thing. This is why all of us do what we do. We went through it. It sucked. And we want to help other people not have to go through it that bad, right? If I drive off a cliff, I might be flagging people down. Please don't drive off the cliff. That's what this is about. So everyone out there, thank you. And Michelle P, that was funny. Did you see that Culture Redneck comment? Yeah. She must have saw Gremlins too. Thank you for coming. And Christine Bell, that's another one there. That's, if she invoiced me for all the armchair therapy sessions, my goodness, I'd never be able to repay it. It took 3 lifetimes. But that's the friendship. People, this is how we grow business. This is why we refer each other. I care about it. It's like family. It really is like family. People care about each other here. And this is why it's so special. So I couldn't even get through all the comments. Folks were just going crazy. Sharon, it was great to see you here again. I mean, my goodness. I'll go back and comment to everybody because I just can't multitask like I used to. It must be getting old or something. But all right. So, hey, fellas, get with me, man. We can figure out a way how to sneak in, or maybe we just do one for us. How about that? Ladies, can y'all do one for us soon?
Of course.
You think about that?
Of course.
All right. All right. We'll figure it out. So, hey, tune in next week. We're going to have a great time, a great show about community, and we're going to pull some folks in. We got a psychiatric nurse practitioner. We have Integrate Trauma Network with Julie Johnson. They have a symposium coming up. So jump in. All right. It's not just about, feel good and all this. It's about being good, being top level, right? Getting things ready so you can conquer 2025. The world needs you. You have things to offer this world. All right. Let's figure out how to get it done. All right. Let's do it together, everybody. Thank you so much. Ladies, always a pleasure. Thank you for who you are, what you do.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you all for being here. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Hounds. And it's just amazing having this community of support that truly does care. So we all appreciate you for being here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Absolutely. My pleasure. I really appreciate it. So we'll see y'all next time. All right. Have a good one. Be good.
Be well.
Bye.
Thank y'all for stopping by. Be sure to follow, share, and like, and send me a message if you had fun today. Y'all come back now.